Some prayers come from a place so deep that words almost aren't enough. A parent praying beside a hospital bed, a husband sitting alone after losing his wife, someone begging God to save a marriage or bring a child home, or simply make tomorrow a little easier than today. Those prayers don't come from obligation, they come from love. In this Sunday's gospel, a mother cries out to Jesus because her daughter is suffering. At first, it seems as though no answer comes. Most people would have walked away. She doesn't. She keeps trusting. She keeps asking. She keeps believing that Jesus is still listening. That kind of faith isn't loud, it's stubborn. It refuses to let go of hope. If you've been carrying a prayer that feels unanswered, don't mistake God's silence for his absence. Sometimes faith is simply choosing to stay one more day, one more prayer, one more act of trust. Because the one you're calling out to has never stopped listening. I have to admit, in my many years of ministry, I've encountered many beautiful people whose faith, especially in difficult times, just amazed me. Their prayer was one of deep faith, even in the midst of what seems to be tragedy. One of the first people I remember meeting in my ministry was a young couple, and the wife had a very severe case of muscular dystrophy. She had grown up with it. She was confined to a wheelchair, and yet she was full of life. She taught herself to play the guitar, even with her fingers not being fully manageable. I remember being at a prayer service, and we were told to think of our prayers, and I was praying, God, boy, could you heal this person? Is that possible? Even though it was probably not likely at all. And then she spoke her own prayer, and I'll never forget it. She said, I want to thank God. I want to thank God for the gift of my wheelchair. Because while many people see this as a handicap, it's given me an opportunity to see life in a new way, to learn to depend on people, to see the good in people, and to realize that God is with me even in the midst of my handicap. Her faith just blew me away. How you could take such a situation and see good, see God in there. It taught me a lesson about prayer, because prayer isn't trying to get God to do our will. Prayer helps us to accept God's will, to accept things as they are, and to see God's presence even in the midst of that. That's faith. That's why we pray, so that we accept and learn God's will, and we see God present to us even in the midst of challenge. That's the prayer we should all have. Persistent, honest, and yet loving God, for he never stops loving us.